Know where I come from, it's North City, 35 miles south of here, and to hear I'm in the same category or talked about jumping these greats in the playoffs. It's like I was a kid and I watched the playoffs so much, and I was like, I would love to be a part of that, that moment, that atmosphere, and I think it's pretty cool. You hear the scoring, the field goals made, and for a kid that really don't care much about scoring.
That's interesting. We haven't really talked a lot about LeBron's accomplishments in the last couple of series just because the team has struggled so hard to get to the next series. But how impressive has LeBron's postseason run been?
As a run up to the finals, so if we take the 13 times LeBron's been in the playoffs and remove the NBA Finals, this is the best he's ever been in a run up to an NBA Finals. Now, as far as totality of a postseason, there are a few that will probably rank higher or would at the moment rank higher than this one because of what he did in the NBA Finals. But we've never seen a guy in NBA playoff history average 33, 8, and 9 and shoot better than 40% over a playoffs. He's doing it in shooting. We can show the audience the numbers for the playoffs. He's doing it in shooting 55% in the playoffs. And series by series, it is the exact same level of production no matter who he's playing. 32 to 34 points, 54 to 56% from the field. Every single series. And he's doing it in the Raptors series with a lot of help. In this series with a little bit of help. In the Pacers series with no help. And not to mention the game-winning shots at the buzzer, the Game 7 heroics. This is... I don't know how you could write a script for a more impressive individual run up to an NBA Finals than the one LeBron is 2 games away from writing.
It's been very impressive. The consistency level, he really can't afford to have an off night. I think he's basically had 2 off nights in the 3 series, and those are nights, a good night in the NBA for an NBA player. It's been very impressive, his overall shot making, how he's at different levels, finishing at the rim, left or right hand, finishing above the rim, either dunking, intermediate jump shot, post game with his back to the basket, shooting behind the arc, even shooting from the free throw line. All those things that he's done at a very, very high level and been so consistent. And there's no person in the NBA that's faced more pressure than LeBron James the last 20 years. And to consistently do it, playing 82 games, followed up by what he's doing in the playoffs, it's very, very impressive. It's always hard to compare players like this with other players, but it's definitely been one of the most impressive playoff runs that we've seen.
In these playoffs, he's got more 40-point games in these playoffs than Steph has 40-point playoff games in his career, than Duncan had 40-point playoff games in his career. Go ahead, Jenna.
No, these numbers are so spectacular, and I just wonder how much of this gets sort of, I don't want to say forgotten, but maybe not focused on.
They didn't even mention on the broadcast.
Exactly.
On the broadcast, they did. What is basketball about? Making shots and stopping your opponent from making shots. He sets the record for most shots made. That's what field goals are. Shots made in playoff history. It was not mentioned once on the broadcast. He's now first in playoff history in the following categories: points, steals, field goals, minutes, buzzer beaters, game winners, game 7 points per game, game clinching points per game, value over replacement player, win shares, and box score plus minus. He's he's number 3 in assists. He's top 15 blocks and rebounds. We do take it for granted to a degree. And it's CeCe's point about the 20 years of doing it.
Yeah, I don't think it's taking it for granted. LeBron is the most talked about athlete on this show. He's the most talked about athlete in the world. So I don't think that we take it for granted, how good he is. I think it's recognized on a daily basis how good LeBron James is.
But do you think the reason we don't focus on it as much, or I'm not sure what to... Because he doesn't have the titles to back it up. Do you think that's why we don't talk so much about his personal records, and the other guys who are coming close to it have the titles? Does that factor in at all?
That's the difference between LeBron and Bill Russell, LeBron and Michael Jordan. That's the only difference you can make. The totality of what LeBron is doing is the only way that he can come on the conversation with Michael Jordan. With Michael Jordan, 6 6-0 in the finals, 6 MVPs in the finals, and is in the 1, 2, or 3 in most of those other categories, if winning's important, then Michael Jordan and what he did will always be there. Yes, LeBron's record of 3 and 5, it will keep him from the other great champions that we've seen.
Listen, we don't have time for it. I know you're not interested in the LeBron versus Jordan debate at the moment, but the championships are, of course, a team accomplishment, and the championships also, of course, incorporate who you are going up against in the NBA Finals or in your path to the NBA Finals. The things we're discussing are individual accomplishments. And as far as an individual resume for individual accomplishments, no one approaches what LeBron's done in the postseason. And once his career's over, no one will have approached what he did in the regular season either.
Absolutely. All right, coming up, switch gears a little bit. Can Odell Beckham